Hi, my name is Allison Perryman. I am the founder of the Cultural Classroom, and I recently came out with a new resource celebrating Afro-Latinos all year. I am so excited about this resource, and I am giving away a preview of the month of September for free for anyone who signs up and just downloads the resource. It's as easy as that. So, how do you use the resource? That's a really good question. I've had some inquiries about that, like, well, how do you use it? And honestly, you use it any way you want. What I did is I researched different occurrences, themes, activities, uh, biographies, birthdays, things that were just of importance to the Afro Latino community that were occurring during the month of blank. So let's say the month of September. And in this month of September, I realized that there isn't really an official Afro Latino poetry month, but de facto, it's kind of celebrated during the month of September because of Hispanic Heritage Month, which is celebrated during that time period as well. And so, one activity that I put in the September month is to celebrate and uplift Afro Latino poets. One Afro Latino poet that I love is Elizabeth Acevedo. She does poetry in English, she does poetry code switching between English and Spanish. And I never shy away from using English in the classroom as long as there is a very clear pathway to cultural competency through the use of that resource. So, if you're short on time, you can take a resource like a poem or a slam concert, competition or something like that, and use that activity during a warm up. And you can, for me, it's so easy. Like, I'm just like, you can convert any activity into what you want it to be. So you can convert um, a poetry reading into a reinforcement of your classroom learnings, and by assigning it questions afterwards that ask things that circle around what your students are learning. So, for example, in the poem that Elizabeth Acevedo, the one that I pulled up, which is, if I can find my mouse, and this is like so complicated because I have two screens. Elizabeth Acevedo, she does a poem called Afro-Latina, which I really enjoy. And she talks about the complexities of being Afro-Latina. And it is in English, but it has a lot of Spanish in it, and it has a lot of cultural richness in it, like the types of music, the types of food, the type, like you can just like almost like your senses are just so stimulated in this poem, and I love it. I will say one thing: always, whatever I recommend to you, always preview it, because this poem does say the word rape, and I don't know how old your students are, but you can always play a section of the poem instead of just tossing it out because it makes mention of kind of like colonization and rape and stuff like that. But the overall poem is fantastic. So, what can you do? You can then make sample questions for level one. I don't know if you can see them, it might be hard to see, and I'll try to take some screenshots so that you can see them, or maybe you can download them or something. But it's like level one. ¿Comprendes el poema? And then have little emojis like 1 through 5 if they understand the poem. And so this is like kind of activating their Spanish, starting to activate their Spanish after having utilized a resource that talked about Spanish culture, that talked about Spanish complexities, the complexities of being Afro-Latino. And we're starting out with like a super basic question. Did you understand it? And then, según tu opinión, describe el tono. Describe el tono. And so I have different words here, but I have emojis next to them. So even if, say for instance, they don't understand the word enojado, I have an angry face emoji next to it. I find that techniques like this really help to enforce the new vocabulary, if it is new vocabulary, and it really helps to have students become the active participants that you want them to be. Also, it's almost kind of a trick question because the tone vacillates quite a bit, and you might have students arguing one tone or another. So, and then if you're doing appearance or what you're like, or you know, ¿cómo eres tú? Or something like that, if that's the unit you're in, you can just ask them, what was the poet like? Like, what did she look like? ¿Cómo es la poeta? And then have them describe her in 3 sentences. And so I think that's like another cool way to actively integrate whatever it is that you're learning in class. And then finally, of course, te gustó el poema. And that's cool because if you're in a level 1 class, they might not use gustó, but now they're being introduced to the past tense in a realistic way. All right, now next, if you're teaching upper level courses such as AP Lit and Culture, which several years ago I did teach that class, so I get it, you can compare this poem to Mujer Negra and see what students, how they compare the plight of the Afro-Latina, which is kind of the result of the Mujer Negra that was brought over, right? And kind of forced to mix and to become part of the society, this new society. And so I asked to include aspectos como el tono, la imagen o construcción de la mujer, el tema del orgullo, y el tema de la vergüenza, because in the first poem, in the Afro-Latina poem, there is a lot of vergüenza. There's a lot of shame that's going on because of the culture. So I hope this kind of helped. This is just one activity that you can do. And just think about it, if you sprinkle this throughout the month, how seen and how heard students will feel in your class, and how much visibility you're giving a whole population within the Spanish-speaking population. All right, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, just reach out to me. You can email me, you can leave a comment, or yeah, you can send an owl. No, I'm just joking. Have a great day. Ciao.